started. We'll call to order the finance meeting Tuesday, November 17th at 8:09. All members of finance are present, and all members of council are also, as a committee of the whole, present at the meeting. We can go a little bit, I'm going to keep a strong cadence on this meeting because a lot of the business has already been conducted at the council meeting right before here.
Mr. Bolliak, just for the record, I think Mr. Barco logged off.
Oh,
Okay. All right. Let the record show Mr. Barco is not in attendance. It does look
At
like
the
we still
finance
have
meeting.
some members. We do still have members of the public. We have 3 members of the public also available. I would like to remind anybody in the public that if they would like to be recognized here in the finance meeting, go ahead and use the Q&A button, and you can, I'll go ahead and bring you into the meeting and you can ask your questions. Mr. Mayor, you already indicated previously that you provided your mayor's report at the council. Right. Is there anything that's going to be different here in the finance meeting?
no.
Okay. Betty, could you go ahead and provide the financial report then, please?
I don't really have anything at this moment for that particular. We've been running so close together. I have some things a little later though. And actually, I'll do this one thing now. We did get a $13,562 check from Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation. That was a premium discount. Basically what it did, they took our premium, turned around and sent it back to us. And that's because of COVID, and they've done that. And they had the extra money, so they did it that way by returning premiums to people, which I thought was pretty nice.
So it wasn't a you pay it later, we're going to give you a little, it's a complete return.
Basically, yes.
My recollection is that the governor had announced I think it was the largest rebate or refund in the state's history. You know, it's the second time they've done it.
Yes, they have. And we've been very fortunate to keep our premiums down. And we only have one open case, and hopefully that will not affect our premiums too much. So we've been very lucky. We work hard to make things safe for our employees.
Awesome. Betty, you can go ahead. What unless you're holding on to some thunder for later, just
no,
fire away.
Nothing, but I may as well continue. As you said, I have the scheduled council meetings and finance meetings. Did everybody get that I sent out? Okay, I want you to know that there's no changes next year. To date, all the election dates do not interfere. Holidays do not interfere. So everything is on a Tuesday unless you as council and individually have a problem with any of these dates. But this is the calendar of which we will start off with. And you all got a rough draft of the committee assignments from this year. And if you would please be sure you let the mayor know what changes you would like for consideration before the next meeting. We want to get this going as well.
Yes, we do generally do that in December.
Mm-hmm.
And those announcements so that when in January 1, we can hit the ground running. So. And
we have some committee, the mayor's working on this, but we have committee assignments that have been up for renewal or whatever this year, and he's been working on that as well.
Appointments.
Correct. Appointments to committees.
I like that. That sounds good.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Betty. Any questions for Betty or the mayor here in finance? Okay, seeing none, let's go ahead and set the agenda for.
Oh, I do have, pardon me, I do have a question.
Go ahead, Janet.
Just a suggestion or a question, or Betty gave us showed us the schedule for next year, and that's for all the count. That's council and finance
Yeah.
and BZA?
Yes, if you look on your schedule, you will see
No?
one column is council, the second column is council and finance. It's all
Okay,
outlined for you.
BZA is still first Wednesday of all the months.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't have
Okay.
anything for BZA.
is there, I guess I get my question is, or suggestion, I don't know how the rest of council feels about this, or if it's already being done, it would be that is that schedule in, Mayor, do you include that in the first newsletter for the village, for the public? I guess that's a
Mayor?
question for the mayor.
We can do that.
I sent it to the newspaper. It's posted outside in the lobby, and we can add it to what the mayor and put it in the newsletter.
Well,
I don't-
here's
does
what I'm gonna
anybody-
say.
You do though, in a sense, you do.
Go ahead. I was just wondering if anyone had any, conversation, would like to have a conversation about that, or what their concerns would be, or, what.
Well, here's what I'm gonna say, Janet. Quarterly newsletters have the 3 upcoming meetings listed. So if I send out at the beginning of the year, the whole year, there's no guarantee that come about June, that anybody's gonna have that. They'll be calling and looking. So as a result, what I usually do is this next newsletter going out here, by the end of the year, we'll have January, February, March's schedule of meetings on there. So people will know that. When it goes out in probably February, we'll have the next 3 months. So one way or the other, we will do it. We've been doing it all along on a quarterly basis, but we could send it out all at one time and see how that works. And maybe have that just one separate sheet that people could put someplace and know that they can look at that and know when those meetings are going to be.
Not to put anybody down on council, but I have a hard enough time council remembering what day they are. So sometimes they forget. So,
Yeah, I was just thinking one page or, one small, like a calendar at the beginning of the year. It's,
Okay.
for the public, for the general public. And
certainly
if those
consider that.
meetings changed, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Mayor.
I just said I certainly can look into doing that.
Okay, well, I don't know if other council members have any input on that, that yay or nay. My thinking then is your quarterly newsletter, our quarterly newsletter, then could announce if there's a change to something, or if a meeting's canceled, or as we go through the year. I just thought that might be a really nice way for some of the public that would like to be a little more engaged or know when we're meeting. They have the reminder. Everyone just is so busy. So hopefully,
Okay.
thank you. I just wondered if that would be something that the rest of council would think would be a good idea. I didn't hear anybody's input.
I think publishing all the meetings
Good
is
idea.
great. Sorry, Heather. I got
Yeah,
lag.
I just said I don't think it's a bad idea at all. I think it's a good idea. Just, another avenue to get them information.
Okay. All right.
Okay, is there any other members of, Mayor, did you want to further comment on that, or were you?
No,
good with
no, that's fine.
it? Okay. All right. Does any other
Well,
members of?
Don, what do you think?
I think it's great. I apologize. I think I spoke at the same time Heather was going because I have a little bit of a lag, I believe. But anytime that we're publishing transparency and letting everybody know when these meetings are, I think that's the right thing for us to do. If we can give as much forethought on that, as much as we can provide. I do like the predictability of us having that cadence of every second Tuesday and fourth Tuesday and every first Wednesday's BZA. I think that's really helpful as well. Mayor, when you post that up on the sign up on the corner, I think that's helpful. I think it's helpful putting it in a newsletter. And my secret source, Mr. Hinkle, who has a great aggregate of all kinds of information, and he keeps those things up to date, and he also publishes things on social media for folks so that they can stay up to date. Just, I believe that there's a lot of avenues for people to plug in and get information.
Absolutely. I would also like to add and ask your opinion about, we're putting, if we're sending out a nice calendar that Betty's put together of council, and then could we add a sentence on there that planning BZA meets the first, notation, like the planning BZA meets the first Wednesday of every month, as, it doesn't even need to say as needed, but I mean, that is the schedule. And you only because there's citizens out there that don't, we know that, I mean, we don't even, but there's citizens out there that would be like, oh, maybe I should check and see what's on planning and zoning, and if there's anything coming up that is concerning, that I would be interested in, they would be interested in, or I don't think it's the first thing that someone thinks about, but I feel that by putting a notation on there about planning and zoning and reminding the public that it's every first Wednesday, it's just transparent. So it's like, don't forget to check us out, don't forget to keep an eye on the village, because we're here working for you guys. We are here working for you guys. This is not us working for us. We're doing this, all of us are doing this because we care about the community and the village.
Yes.
And so we want them to be engaged. So if they want to call me and ask me questions about anything, call me and ask me that. I had someone call me and ask me about leaves, and I had to put a phone call into the road department, and Charlie gave me a call back. It all happened within a couple of days. I mean, it's very simple. I mean, it's a very simple, it's a very complicated job when we do it, because there's a lot of layers and things that we need to do to be correct and do things legally and right. But we do it with a lot of all of us. Every person that sits on this council, the mayor, Betty, our solicitor, our engineer, everybody that works for this village does it with such compassion and such caring. And I think that us sending that calendar out says to the public, please come, please join us. Please check us out sometimes, because we're here for you, and don't hesitate to call. There are no stupid questions. And that goes for council too. I've heard some council people say, they may feel like it's not a very bright question to ask. And I think any question is welcome, because it does show transparency, that we can ask each other any question we want. And it doesn't reflect poorly on us. We know what we're doing. Sometimes we need to just ask those questions because we need confirmation that we feel like we're doing it correctly. So anyway, that was a little bit of no, I don't know what that was, but I just felt like that goes along with our transparency with the council meetings and the BZA planning, and any more of that we can do, I think is to, and thank you all for your passion. Anyway,
Hey, thanks, Janet.
I don't know why I'm getting so emotional, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's 2020, and bring it. It's completely
Bring
okay.
it.
I mean, I share your sentiment that people up here care and they're trying to do the right thing. And I certainly would be I would try to call out anybody who was trying to keep information or anything like that. But I do want to recognize, because I'm pretty sure, and the mayor was showing it, that in the newsletters it's in there, and I know it's on the websites, and I know
There's always a section there, council
Yep.
finance meetings, or the
Right.
planning
Oh, there you go.
for the next
Right.
3 months. They've been listed for years in that same manner, so.
Right.
I like the exact dates and not,
Try that.
I like it that way. It's the exact date. If I have like a calendar, it says like the first Monday, I tend to forget like that personally. So I like that it's the exact date that's listed. I even put like Monday, October, whatever, just so people remember whenever I send things.
Okay.
You can't mess with an accountant when it comes to numbers and dates, right? Maybe a little.
You can mess a little with them, but He always gets you in the end, right, Ron?
I think you just messed with him. I don't know.
He's smiling.
Mhm.
Let's have some fun. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Janet. And you know, anytime that we need to test and make sure that we're publishing and keeping things open and transparent, I think that's a good thing, and it's a good thing for the village. I appreciate that. Before we set the agenda, does any members of council have any other items, or can we go right into setting the agenda? All right, let's go ahead and do that. Looks like the council meeting for December 8th is going to have approval of minutes, and it looks like right as of this time, we have one resolution, which would be authorizing the mayor to enter into contract with the Public Defender's Office, which we do every single year, so that there is equal representation in the court. And I think that it's they are our partners in that. Go ahead,
Don,
Betty.
we'll have some more too, but they'll be
Okay.
routine. And
Okay.
I do believe that Marshall may have some that will be added on to that.
Okay.
You may have something tonight. You never
That's what I
know.
meant.
Okay. Well, let's, it looks like there's also going to be council organizational meeting. Mark your calendars. Will be the January 5th. That's a very important item. That make sure everybody gets that on their calendars as well. Okay, that will be the council agenda. Go ahead, Marshall. Floor is yours.
I'm going to be proposing an ordinance. It's a tax incentive financing ordinance. We don't necessarily, in fact, we can't pass it at the first reading, the first meeting in December. We could pass it at the second, or we could even put it off to a third reading in January. But it's essentially it's a result of the Pure Development Program. And what we will be doing is we will be passing an ordinance that would allow us to create a program, much like we did for Costco, where it's kind of a payment in lieu of taxes. And so the landowner there would be paying to, in the same amount of, if you will, taxes, but it's not a tax. It's called a pilot, right? It's a payment in lieu of taxes. And the good news here is that we get to reapportion those funds in a way that's permitted under the ordinance. And to oversimplify it, and my suggestion is going to be in the way that we would write the ordinance, is that we take all of the funds that would normally go to Hudson City Schools, that we keep that in place. This is not intended at all to take any money from the schools whatsoever. We would make them whole. If you're looking at let's use a kind of a pie chart as an analogy. That's by far the largest piece of the pie, and we're not going to be touching that at all. There are essentially two other pieces of the pie. There's the county, and then the village's traditional property tax that we collect. It's roughly 6%. We will, under this TIF, essentially be absorbing or allowing to take for the village's benefit the county's portion. Now that's an oversimplification, but what we'll be doing is taking this income, and it's just related to this parcel. It's just the Pure Development parcel. It's not anything else in the village, and we can then use that money on any infrastructure development that has a nexus to the new development. So if we need to, for example, if we need to redo the roads, if we want to create buy some property perhaps across the street, or with because we might have to move the trail because of that. All of these things that are infrastructure related, we might want to put in a roundabout due to the changes in traffic at the intersection of Old Ada and Hines Hill. There's all kinds of things that we can do so long as it has a nexus to the project. And this TIF this program, this tax reapportionment, if you will, lasts for 30 years. And so it's based on some of the projections. This is going to be a pretty large bucket for the village, and we can do a lot of great things so long as it has a nexus to the project. I mentioned earlier in the last meeting that the mayor and Mr. Poliak and I are starting to make a list of things from an infrastructure standpoint that we think that the village can do that will have a nexus to this project. We'll be giving that to Mr. Gorog shortly, so we can begin to plug that into the capital plan. So anyway, I would like to suggest that we bring the ordinance for a first reading at the next meeting, and probably carry it out for 3 meetings. We are required to give the schools notice. We'll do that. I'll make sure that notice gets prepared and issued. But I don't expect this at all to be controversial, because we're going to make the schools whole, and the county. These things happen all the time, and they understand. So I would propose that we do that if that's okay with everyone on council.
Seeing no objections, we'll go ahead and add that onto the agenda, and thank you, Marshall.
Do you want a title on that?
I would appreciate if you could send it to me, yes.
Hang on 1 second. I'll send it to you. It's really long.
I'm not gonna do that.
It's really long. It's like 5 lines long.
Okay.
Take shorthand.
Yeah.
Take shorthand, Betty, write it down.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Thank you, Mr. Poliak.
All right, appreciate it. Anybody else have any other items for consideration for the Finance Committee? Okay, it looks like we have the council agenda set and all items have been discussed. We'll go ahead and adjourn tonight's finance meeting at 8:30. Want to wish everybody a great Thanksgiving, and look forward to a time when we can all be together. But good to see everybody via video, and be safe out there with the weather, and enjoy your family, and be safe with the whole COVID thing. All right.
Be well.
Mr.
Happy
Mayor.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Thanksgiving.
I'm going to transfer the host back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Okay, you're good.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Don.